Good morning, friends. I have my friend Madi here with me, and we are going to have a conversation about forgiveness.
It's time for your Monday Minute.
Hey, okay. So I really wanted Madi to come and talk about forgiveness. I think it's something that she and I could very easily assume, well, everybody knows what forgiveness is. But we're just going to talk really fast about what forgiveness is so that we're all on the same page, and then we have more places to go with it. So, Madi, tell us, what is forgiveness?
So there are a lot of definitions of forgiveness. It's basically a merciful response, showing compassion to a wrong that's been done to you.
Yeah, plain and simple.
Yeah.
I think that's really easy. Something too that I think is really important is forgiveness isn't about like somebody else, but it's about me and my process. And I know it's really easy for me to believe that, well, I have to forgive them because that's the right thing to do, or I have to forgive them to make them feel better, when like I think that's like not it at all, you know.
And to take that even a step further, I think the other person doesn't even necessarily have to be involved. They don't even have to know about it.
Yeah.
Because it really is just about us and our journey.
Our own process. That's awesome. I think that's so good. Okay. So as we've been talking, I think you have a really interesting kind of twist on what forgiveness is and how we can look at it. So I want you to kind of dive into that.
So forgiveness frees me and empowers me by giving me a sense of avoiding bitterness in my heart and allowing me to grow as a person and to really just be content and joyful. But the one thing that we don't look at often is what forgiveness is not. And I want to take a little bit of time to talk about what forgiveness is not and look at it from a different angle.
Yeah.
So the first thing I wanted to talk about was forgiveness is not forgetting. Sometimes that phrase is used often.
Yep.
And
I was just going to say that. You hear the like, forgive and forget, but
truly we are hardwired as human beings to remember things. And we don't really have choices on things we remember or forget. And we remember to not put ourselves in those situations again.
Yeah.
So it serves a good purpose.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's the first thing.
I love that. Great.
The second thing, it is not necessarily reconciliation. Because you choose to forgive someone doesn't mean that you have to jump back into that relationship or that friendship and continue on forward. You can forgive from a distance.
Totally. Well, and I think that is so good to remember because, again, I think there's a little bit of programming in us, maybe even as little kids, of like, forgive your friend and then go play with them again.
Yes.
And you know, there's obviously different levels, but I love that freedom of saying you don't have to go back into that relationship. That's really empowering. Really empowering.
Yes. A third point is it doesn't necessarily mean you agree with the offender or the offense that was done to you.
Okay.
Sometimes people have a hard time letting go or empowering themselves to forgive because they feel like it will mean agreeing with the offense.
Sure. Kind of justifying what happened to you by forgiving it.
Yeah.
I think that's really powerful too. Yeah.
That's not necessarily true. Forgiveness is also not a pardon. So consequences still happen. It may be a situation where there was perhaps abuse and maybe there was authorities involved. You may still choose to forgive the offender, but they may still have to pay a fine or take anger management classes or any other kind of consequences.
Yeah. I think that is, again, really good to recognize that there's still a natural flow of our behaviors then have either consequences or, you know, benefits of whatever we choose. And in that regard, it sounds like forgiveness gives us the benefit while that person still lives with the consequences of their choice.
Exactly.
Okay.
Forgiveness is not a free ticket to keep hurting us. So we can get that space. We can choose to say, I'm not going to participate in this any longer. So it's not a free ticket to keep hurting us.
Okay.
And lastly, my favorite.
Okay.
Forgiveness is not a feeling. You don't get all goosebumpy and, feel wonderful when you choose to forgive.
Sure.
Sometimes it really doesn't have any feeling at all, and we just kind of sit with the choice of forgiving. And it is a choice.
Yeah.
In time, if you choose forgiveness, what ends up replacing that as a feeling is probably peace and joy and the lack of bitterness that takes place. So eventually peace and joy will be there, but forgiveness itself is not a feeling. And I think people get tripped up by thinking that, oh, I don't feel like I'm actually offering the forgiveness because I don't feel anything.
Right. No, that is so, so good. I'm thinking about a movie that I saw, and a particular character, there was a really big offense, and the character was like, I don't know how to forgive this person. Like, I don't know what that means. And the person he was talking to said, like, just say, I forgive you. And maybe you have to say it every minute.
Yes.
Just keep saying, I forgive you. And so like you're saying, it's that choice of saying, okay, I'm choosing this, I'm choosing this, I'm choosing this. And that doesn't change the way that we feel about the situation. It doesn't change the way we even feel in that moment. But I think every time we choose it, we take a step closer to these feelings that you're talking about, of joy, of freedom, of peace and life. And I think that is one of the most powerful things, is when we choose to forgive for ourselves, we set ourselves up for that freedom.
Exactly.
I love that. Exactly. All right, friends. So I want you guys to think about what forgiveness has looked like in your life, and maybe what your own experiences have been. And was it easy to forgive? Did you feel like you chose it? Was it some of these things that Mari has said that it is not? I think it's really important to recognize moments where maybe we do need to forgive people that we haven't been doing that for ourselves. And how can we start engaging and choosing it, knowing that it's not justifying what people have done to us. It's not forgetting about what people have done to us, but it's about making a choice for our own freedom to move forward. So, friends, get yourselves to Friday, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.